Hey everybody, welcome out to a top 5. Really excited about this one, actually.
I know. Today we are going to be doing, and I've never seen a list of this caliber before.
Nice. Very nice. We're doing top 5 light gun games, but arcade light gun games.
There's a lot of light gun games out there, and so we wanted to kind of narrow the field a little bit because, honestly, a lot of the home console light gun games, you lose some of the flavor.
You do. There's a little bit of something extra missing. Now, one thing we love about arcades, and especially arcade shooters, is the guns. Now, these, for example, is from Lethal Enforcers. Now, one thing I do want to talk about is technique.
Lethal Enforcers.
Now, Andy, you and I used to be pros at this.
That's right, we did.
Pros. You used to work at GameWorks and hook us all up with free game cards, so we used to play these all the time. But for those of you, some people like to just hold it and click it like this.
Which is like,
it works. Accuracy.
You know what? Yeah, if you want your accuracy points up, that's fine. But if you actually want to live to the end of the game with 1 credit,
yeah, you're gonna have to hold the gun with your left hand, put your finger right here, and then. Yeah, you hear it. You tap it as fast as possible and reload. I mean, we used to get serious about these games and, have competitions on who could beat the game on 1 credit.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the goal. So if you can go through it. House of the Dead's impossible.
I hate that game. It's not on our list, by the way.
Yeah.
House of the Dead is not on our list.
Yes, it's in HD. Yes, some of it's really cool, but man.
There's no force feedback on House of the Dead, which makes it suck. And also, the game itself is designed to suck money. That game, more than any other game that when we worked at an arcade, more than any other game, people would sit and pump in like $30 into this stupid game.
Yeah, they had to beat it. Anyway, no honorable mentions for this. We're going to go straight to this amazing list of arcade light guns.
Number 5.
Number 5 on our list, I don't like. Wouldn't be on my list normally, but guess what? This guy loves it. So we fought back and forth. We arm wrestled. I lost. So guess what? Revolution X is on our list.
Yes. Listen, I know Aerosmith is an okay band. They're an okay band. They're not that great, but this game for me was the epitome of my, if we're having baseball games and everybody goes to CC's after baseball games, this game was in every CC's anywhere. But
because it was probably like $5. That's why they're like, let me put this $5 game that TJ will come and dump $30 into.
Okay, it's based off the Terminator 2 engine, or not engine, like an arcade cabinet. Actually, that's what they did was they took Terminator 2 and replaced it with Revolution X. But music is the weapon. I just love.
Wait, what are you shooting?
CDs. Actually, the specials are CDs. Other than that, it's a machine gun. But the sprites, the dancing girls, you get in the car and you get to choose your levels. I thought it was really hard, and we played the crap out of it. We played the crap out of this game. A lot of people are like, I hate Revolution X. Yes, because you played it in the arcade or the consoles, and it was the worst port ever made. You can't use a light gun for any one of these ports, and the graphics were terrible. They dumbed it down. But the arcade game, I wish I had one. I would be playing it right now.
And I would not, because this game is a total sellout, but I lost in arm wrestling, so what are you going to
do? Number 4.
And number 4, this is a 2-parter for me, but Jurassic Park.
That's what she said.
Yes. Jurassic Park was cool for 2 reasons. One, most of them came, I know they made the smaller ones, but they came in this big, gigantic booth.
With a curtain on it. So you could draw back the curtain, which was actually pretty cool because you didn't have any light filtering in, you got the surround sound going on, but we both know that the Jurassic Park Lost World light gun arcade machine was used maybe less for actually playing the game and more for making out with...
Or grabbing boobs. I mean, one of the two. Probably both.
But I think maybe it's both.
Yeah, I think it's both at the same time. But no, this game was actually really fun. I loved that the mini bosses or the big bosses, they gave you little accurate points. I had to take out their knees. Shooting dinosaurs was awesome. Jurassic Park was big at the time, and to have this cool enclosure. Yes, we know Voyager made one, but we're never going to speak of that one again.
It's terrible.
And anyway, the game was a lot of fun, and you could do it with a girl. And if you lose, guess what? You get to score. Either way, you win.
So you win on this one. But I want to say one quick thing though. The vehicle sequences in this game were maybe some of the best vehicle sequences of any game that I had played. When you're driving around in the truck and you've got like the Raptors running, the Velociraptors running after you. It's pretty cool because it's a really fast-paced, well-animated.
Also, you could choose your difficulty. Most of these games, I know if you go into the settings, you can make it more difficult or less difficult. But this one, you got to choose, easy, medium, or hard, and it just kind of made it fun for everybody.
Number 3.
All right, number 3 on our list is actually, oh man, this game is so much fun. And if you play it, it still, I think, is quite revolutionary for its time. Nothing out there really, for me, holds a candle to the Police 911 series.
Now, this was motion controls before motion controls, is pretty much, and it was accurate. I loved how accurate this game is. I mean, it lined up the shot, it lined up your body, stand in this position.
Don't wear a hat.
Had the cameras facing down on you, but to dodge bullets, to level up and become, get different items and things like that. It was so much fun. I mean, I love being able to get out of dodge, and gives you an option instead of just, a bullet just happened to hit you because you didn't shoot fast enough.
Yeah.
It gave you another option to kind of enhance the gameplay. Of course, they made a second one, but I always loved the first one, and I think the motion controls were probably one of the coolest innovations for a light gun game that I've seen.
Well, you go to the arcades a lot, and maybe sometimes the gun isn't attached, or it's got like gum on it, or it's sticky. Almost all the time when I played this game, it was in great condition, which is a huge testament to the actual construction of the game itself.
I think they had chains to go with the heavy-duty, thick-gauge cord, didn't they? So, I mean, they didn't get in the way. They were light and durable,
But I never found myself, you pick up a lot of light gun games, and you shoot onto the screen, and all of a sudden it's not calibrated right, so you're shooting over here. I never played on a Police 911 that wasn't properly calibrated, which was super cool about the game. And what was really cool is as you're doing that level-up system, kind of going through, it wasn't just one long level. They broke it up into like 15 different sections, so that what you could do is if you passed a section without dying, you would level up. And what was neat is you could actually watch as you're ticking up the list. You're like, oh wow, I get an extra life here. I get 3 extra lives here. So you actually had something to work for. So you're like, okay, well the game isn't just going to give me an extra life randomly. It'll reward me for very good play.
Number 2.
And number 2 is, of course, Cameraman Joe's favorite.
Silent Scope.
Favorite game, but Silent Scope. Now, I'm telling you what made this game, for one, was the giant gun you get to hold that had a scope that actually worked. The coolest thing ever. I know they ported it to the Xbox, but there's no scope that worked. Totally not worth it. But this game, Silent Scope 1, Silent Scope 2, Silent Scope EX, all those were amazingly fun games. I mean, the option to zoom in, you really felt really good to play this thing.
Now, one thing that I really liked about it too is it really tried to recreate a sniping experience. I mean, yes, it's like a fun action story, and it's pretty fast-paced for what it is, but if you're sitting there and you think you're going to do one of these light gun tricks with your gun and just go like this really quickly, it's going to yell at you. It says, calm down.
I think if you look at some ladies through the scope too, you get extra lives, I believe.
Right.
Yeah, so if you happen to zoom in and see a lady, you get an extra life. But a ton of fun. I mean, there was multiplayer, so you could actually go against each other.
That's right.
In some of the future ones, if you link them together,
you can choose which person you want to be.
Yeah, what it would do is it warp your position, and you'd have to go find them and search them, and then zoom in and shoot them in the face.
Pretty cool game, and this one of the other things about this game that I really enjoyed was that it gave you a lot for your money. Like, I felt like this was another one of those games where you could sit down and with $1 or $1.50, which is usually what it was in the arcade, which it always got me. If there was a silent scope machine in the arcade, I was always like honkering up, and you got to step on the side stool and then lean up into your silent scope position. And I kind of had my own little cheats, but I always felt like when you're playing silent scope, you got a lot of bang for your buck.
It was like 2 games in one too, because you could do the training missions where you have to shoot certain things fast, and those actually take a long time. There's not really any way to lose those, but it's just to test your accuracy for all this stuff. Like, you have watermelons moving back and forth. You remember that. Great game, a lot of fun. There's so much to do, and if you can find one for cheap, good luck.
Number 1.
All right, number 1 on our list, and we're going to just go ahead and say the whole franchise, which we've kind of done for the other ones, which is Time Crisis.
Yeah, Time Crisis, that little foot pedal actually made a huge difference in the gameplay for me, because usually you just stand there and do whatever, but it gave you that extra option to, get out of dodge, kind of like Police 911, but, to pop in and out of places, to go in and out behind shields, and it, with the multiplayer too, where you guys were facing each other going down one corridor as you guys are fighting. It just
So you had multiple angles, and usually when you played Time Crisis 1 had you introduced the foot pedal, which is a completely awesome way of reloading and dodging dodging stuff. So you're like, okay, well, instead of bullets just whizzing at me all the time, I can like take a break for a second, maybe get it out, talk on my cell phone for a little bit.
They run out of time.
Yep, doesn't run out of your timer's still ticking down, so you're gonna get punished, if you sit back for too long.
Sure.
But then in the second game, you're right, they introduced 2 players at once, and normally when you played it, you played on this massive machine. You had 2 gigantic, like 55-inch screens. Each one of you are playing, and you can play and you solo, or you can play linked, or you can play competition against each other. So it was super cool because you're going down the corridors together. Then you play the third game, and it introduced multiple weapons.
Multiple weapons is what made that game for me. You're like, oh sweet, switch to the shotgun while I'm ducking behind something and just blow away 5 people. To have the options, it kind of felt like a collaboration of all the good things of other games and put into one.
Mm-hmm.
But with the added bonus of a sweet pedal, which I wish we could kind of recreate for the couch, so I could just,
Well, also, what was really cool about the whole series is force feedback. All of the weapons had force feedback, so you had a lot of things going on at once.
What made me sad, though, is when it wouldn't work. Like you're shooting and just all of a sudden it go, barely move, it ruins the experience.
This was one of those machines that got a lot of play in the arcade.
Yeah, it's either was made not as good as some of the other ones, or it just got so much gameplay time that they just wore out, which happens.
Mm-hmm. And the reason why this makes number 1 on our list is because of just really its versatility. You could play, you had the foot pedal going on, you had the force feedback, you could play by yourself, you could play with a friend, you could select multiple weapons. You had a lot of great light gun options all rolled into one game, and you had a good, fun storyline to play.
It's just consistently been a good game. You enjoyed the first one because it was new, the second one you enjoyed because of the multiplayer. I mean, every time they came out with a new one, it had some kind of new evolution that just made it, like, oh, this is not the same game over and over again. I got something new to compete with or something new to do. So it just kept pumping out good stuff, and that's why we love this game.
That's right, and if you want to see any more of our top 5 lists, check them out over at thegameheroes.com and give us your opinions, because I know that you have them.